Now, does this sound familiar? An insurance company, a client of ours, came to us with a repository of over 5 million documents intended for 10,000 employees. With our assistance, we found that only 2 to 4% of those documents were truly finished goods suitable for their KM repository, approximately 100 to 200,000 documents. This highlights a common issue. Based on our experience, there's one final document for every 50 versions not suitable for knowledge management repository. Despite their best efforts to capture the information, the client was overwhelmed by sheer volume and redundancy of the content, hindering their ability to effectively share and manage the knowledge. Like that client, many organizations struggle to capture, share, and manage their knowledge effectively, leading to increased costs, lost insights, unhappy customers, and competitive disadvantages. This challenge can lead to missed opportunities and hinder organizational growth and agility. Does this sound like your organization at all? So no matter where you are in your KM journey, there are valuable lessons for everyone. As we move through the presentation, you'll notice it's divided into two colors. As shown on the agenda, teal highlights the general insights, while the red sections specifically relate to Ondexx's strategic approach based on the first section. Now, poor knowledge management can have big impact on your business. I'm going to focus on 3 key issues we hear most often and have the biggest impact. First is increased cost. Inefficient knowledge access drives up operational IT support and staffing costs, and it also can have legal risks and associated legal costs. Loss of institutional knowledge. This can happen when a key employee leaves your organization, during project handovers, or when there's technical system changes without proper documentation, or when a laptop gets stolen or data gets lost due to a system or solution failure. For example, one of our clients lost a large volume of data due to a system failure that needed a better solution to ensure that they would not have losses in their knowledge base in the future. Thirdly is customer satisfaction. Customers would experience delays and frustrations due to slow or inaccurate responses, which could impact your organization, and they could become offside with contracts. For example, employees of various departments at one of our large clients weren't able to find the information they needed quickly, easily, and accurately, which led to customer dissatisfaction and employee frustration. So next we'll explore how to optimize your knowledge ecosystem by leveraging technology to foster collaboration within your enterprise. I'm gonna let you take the picture. So a strong KM ecosystem is like a well-oiled machine with interconnected parts working in balance together to create, share, and use knowledge effectively. Let's look at the key components. First, strategy and governance. This sets the direction and ensures everyone's aligned. Next, knowledge and information management. This is about organizing and storing your knowledge. Third, organizational culture. A supportive culture encourages knowledge sharing. Next, training and onboarding. This equips employees with the skills they need to use the KM tools and follow the KM processes. Next, collaboration tools. These tools facilitate teamwork and allow for effective knowledge exchange. Next, tacit knowledge management. This captures the informal and often unspoken knowledge. Seventh is analytics and reporting, which helps you measure the impact of your KM efforts. And last is AI and machine learning. These technologies can automate tasks and uncover the insights. Now each component reinforces the next, ensuring knowledge flows seamlessly across your organization, empowering teams, driving innovation, and fostering collaboration. Now technology is crucial for a successful KM strategy. A robust KM platform should consider the user and make their workday easier, align to corporate culture and values, and meet the organization's needs. Now to maximize the benefits of your KM platform, you need to focus on strategic alignment, ensuring that KM addresses the needs of the entire organization, not just a department, both for end users and strategically. User adoption, the need to create a compelling reason and then support to use it. And continuous improvement. You need to maintain the credibility of your KM platform by regularly evaluating and refining your processes to adapt to evolving needs. Now, based on our experience, we've identified 7 key strategies for successful knowledge management. It's not about ticking boxes, it's about creating an environment where KM can thrive. Every company's KM approach should be tailored to its specific needs and goals. Now, this might also include collaborating with the right external partners to support your efforts. I won't go into the details of each strategy, but what matters most is finding what best supports your business goals. These strategies help guide you in focusing on areas that help overcome your KM issues. Consider aspects like governance, culture, change management, and executive alignment as part of the bigger picture. By focusing on these essentials, you're building a strong foundation for effective knowledge sharing and ongoing progress. Now, one example of our work is with a company called MIB, a data provider in the financial services space for over 100 years. MIB had a large manual that was actually manually produced and distributed to over 7,000 end users. This process was time-consuming as it was printed and distributed annually, and it made it difficult for users to find the information they needed to effectively do their jobs. We digitized this manual, making it easy for it to be updated and distributed electronically, and this allowed users to access the information quickly, easily, and accurately, and gain the insights they needed to do their jobs. And this project included a gap analysis, and it transformed the organization's culture, requiring a strong change management with full executive alignment to support the shift. Now, a strong knowledge-sharing platform offers significant benefits to your organization. Here are the key advantages. First is growth. For example, one of our customers significantly improved their customer satisfaction by digitizing manual processes. This was MIB, as I just explained. Collaboration and productivity. In our experience, customers are more productive and find that they save 2 hours per week on average per employee in productivity gains. And cost reduction and risk mitigation. Implementing a solution that requires little to no IT support will free up resources and bring immediate ROI to your business. Now, to build a successful knowledge sharing community, you can focus on strong leadership to champion the initiative and set clear expectations, a clear purpose to define the goals and benefits of the platform, and active participation, encouraging everyone to contribute and engage. By focusing on these areas, you can ensure that your KM platform delivers real value to your organization. Now, AI is changing the game for knowledge management, as we all know. Let's dive in and see how it's transforming the way we work. We'll explore some of the latest trends, challenges, and best practices to help optimize your KM strategy. AI is creating a lot of hype in the KM world, and many organizations are exploring its potential. But AI is not a magic fix. If you don't address the risks and uncertainties first, it won't deliver the results you're expecting. Data quality is key. Garbage in, garbage out. If your data is poor, no amount of AI will fix it. Consider our client's experience where only 2 to 4% of their knowledge base was actually usable for their KM repository out of over 5 million documents. AI can be complex and costly, and you might face skill gaps in your team. Adding concerns like bias, fairness, and security and privacy, and you're looking at even more hurdles. Exploring AI is a good start, but without clean, organized data, AI initiatives are set up for failure. Now, AI in KM can drive huge value, but there's key issues to consider when adding it to your existing platform. If you overlook scalability, integration, and ethics, you risk running into issues that will hurt AI's effectiveness and ROI down the road. And failing to address compliance and user adoption up front can create roadblocks, delaying or even derailing your initiatives. Thoughtful implementation is key. This ensures AI solves problems, adds value, and integrates smoothly into your entire KM ecosystem. Now that we've addressed the challenges, let's talk about some best practices to make sure you avoid the pitfalls I just talked about. Imagine a workplace where KM technology is seamless, allowing employees to focus on impactful work. When learning and collaboration thrive, teams stay adaptable and productivity rises naturally. To make AI and KM truly effective, we need to prioritize simplicity, support ongoing learning, and build a collaborative culture. These efforts empower teams, strengthen your KM ecosystem, and lay a solid foundation to unlock AI's full potential. Now, when done thoughtfully, AI and KM means faster, smarter, and more personalized access to information, helping teams make better decisions and drive innovation. It's not just about efficiency, it's about creating a culture where ideas flow freely, insights are predicted, and everyone's equipped and adapt quickly. When a company embraces AI and KM, it incorporates best practices, they unlock potential that keeps them competitive, adaptable, and ready for new opportunities. Now let's talk about Ondexx and how we're leveraging AI to transform KM. Ondexx is providing 100% cloud-based solutions since 2003. Our clients have stuck with us because we deliver. Our AI approach is strategic. We're using AI to boost productivity and uncover valuable insights, and we're not just talking about it, we're doing it. By partnering with industry leaders, we're continuously enhancing our solution to meet evolving needs, including partnerships that will further enhance our offering and our AI development initiatives. Now, Ondexx helps our clients in a number of ways. It's a simple yet robust KM solution with over 300 features out of the box, leveraging AI partnerships to further our technology, and using leading-edge security. We work to deliver the right information and insights to the right people at the right time, solicit feedback from our clients through our regular health check meetings, and only use proven and tested technology that protects our customers and their data. For example, with our clients, we conduct regular health checks anywhere from 1 to 4 times annually. During these meetings, we're hearing more often from clients about executive pressure to adopt AI large language models. Our approach was to take it step by step, a crawl, walk, run approach. We first focused on quick wins to deliver the greatest impact without high costs. These include enhancements where we use AI combining semantic and lexical search and enriching metadata using generative AI to improve the user's search experience. We also use AI for assisting our clients with translation services. Now we're looking at further enhancements in AI, for example, question and answer responses using generative AI. Now today we've discussed how a strong KM strategy can transform your organization. But it's not just about technology, it's about people, processes, and fostering a culture of knowledge sharing. As AI reshapes the landscape, are you ready to capitalize on its potential? A strong KM ecosystem and a solid foundation are key to your success. Thank you for attending today's presentation, and if you have any questions, I'll be here at the end for some questions, or I will be in the lobby floor of the hotel in the congressional meeting room located behind the elevators most of the day tomorrow, starting around 7:30 in the morning until about 4 in the afternoon. You'll see our banner outside of the room. Feel free to stop by and say hello. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Next up is Neil Weir from Yurts AI. Neil, take it away.
Awesome. Great. This is actually a really great transition with Michael spending a lot of time talking about adopting AI as part of knowledge management. I'm going to spend a lot of time here talking about how you can operationalize knowledge management solutions using AI capabilities in order to make your data easier to use within the systems where you live day to day that aren't your knowledge management solution. So it's a really great segue. Yeah, I'm Nick. I lead delivery at Yurts. I'm responsible for getting our software deployed into our customer environments. And so Yurts is a generative AI company that integrates with a variety of different systems, including a number of knowledge management systems, to bring your data in and then enable you to interact with it using either chat or search within the systems where you live every day. So a lot of folks may end up using Yurts and never even know it's Yurts because it's integrated into the platforms that you use all the time. So if we kind of zoom out a little bit from knowledge management solutions and just think about the problems that we're often trying to solve when we're thinking about knowledge management and operationalizing those data, a lot of it is around looking for answers and then taking advantage of those answers. And we spend a ton of time looking for answers across a number of different platforms in our day-to-day and work. It's on average 20% of the time that you're working, you're going to be trying to find something in one system or another. Hopefully as much of it as possible is centralized into a knowledge management system where everything's really well organized. But in reality, particularly with some of the enterprise tools that a lot of us end up using day to day, that isn't always the case. And so once you spend roughly 20% of your time chasing that down, then you're going to spend another 40% of your working time trying to use that information to generate some form of content, a report, an email, some other kind of actionable artifact that you're going to use to generate business value in whatever way you do within your personal role. This 20% of tracking this stuff down plus 40% of your time of then generating the output can be dramatically shortened, not eliminated, because we still need to be doing the thinking and the analytic part of things that we humans are so good at that AI systems if we're being real, just aren't in most cases, certainly at this point. But you're able to shortcut a lot of this and improve employee output pretty dramatically. However, we also know that traditional knowledge management systems often aren't cutting it, and that's why a lot of the time folks are looking at integrating AI capabilities into their knowledge management systems in a lot of different ways. The fact that many times these systems may not be integrated with the applications where you have to do your day-to-day job. So you're switching back and forth between a knowledge system, a knowledge platform, and the system where you're executing whatever the task is a big gap. And then another big one that I'll highlight and touch on is that some knowledge management systems are very good at managing things, structuring it, enabling you to access it. But they're not necessarily making it super easy for you to then use that within whatever system you're using to do your day-to-day job. And so these are the kinds of problems that Yurts is aiming to solve in terms of how we are working with knowledge management systems by being that connective tissue between whatever the knowledge management system is, where all of your data may be stored, and then whatever software or tool you are using to do your day-to-day job. So that's where we believe generative AI and Yurts specifically can help, enabling you to make decisions faster, increasing output, ideally eliminating repetitive tasks, because we all know there are a lot of repetitive tasks for a lot of workers in our different organizations, and not only do they result in folks spending a ton of time doing that, but it's boring. It reduces folks' ability to focus or reduces their excitement about their work because people are spending a lot of time doing something repetitive and menial rather than spending time thinking about what they can do more effectively within their role and doing that work that, again, humans are ideally suited for. But this is a really hard problem, as Michael pointed out, and as a lot of folks here are undoubtedly intimately aware. It's really not easy to use generative AI capabilities with knowledge management systems in a way that is secure, that provides a high quality user experience, and in a way that actually integrates effectively with whatever systems you use, both on the knowledge management side and also on the systems that you're using to do your business critical roles that are not those knowledge management systems. Yurts specifically is a software platform that deploys directly into customers' environments. We do also have the ability to host it ourselves, but what we're really setting out to provide is a generative AI capability that can integrate with your knowledge management systems, can live within your compute environment so that you don't need to be sending data out anywhere, where Yurts isn't using your data to improve our models, unlike a lot of competing capabilities, so you can trust that your data is secure and will not be leveraged by any of your competitors. And that where nothing ever leaves your compute boundaries because everything's been deployed there. Now, we provide a set of modular components when we bring this capability where we can provide a number of different features, things like guardrails in order to ensure ethical use and avoid live wire topics that may be inappropriate for your organization or just for the workplace in general. We provide a full analytics suite of the AI capability itself, and I think it's really important to highlight that it is critical to have analytics around the data that you have within your knowledge management platform, but there's also the entire piece of how well is your AI capability actually leveraging that data? Are you getting the right data out of your system when users are chatting against documents? Are they accessing information they shouldn't have access to based on some kind of defective access controls, things like this? And just how good are the models doing? Are they generating responses with made-up information, which is unfortunately unavoidable in AI at this point? but can be minimized, particularly if you have good visibility into where the AI capability is working well and is not. And then finally, this integrations component that's highlighted on here is of course crucial. You need to be able to interact with data within your knowledge management system, then potentially data or information that's available from other systems. I think if we think about how our organizations use knowledge management, and even Yurts is certainly is not perfect in this space. You also have information in email. You have information in other platforms that may not integrate very cleanly with whatever your knowledge management system is that you're using day to day. Being able to tie together all of these different both knowledge management and non-KM capabilities in order to bring all of your data together is crucial. You got to have really good performance with your AI capabilities, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but Yurts is a retrieval augmented generation platform. For those who aren't familiar with that, what that means is that when you send a chat using our capability, it's not just the model that's generating the response. What's happening is we're actually going and searching for or tracking down other information, whether it's in an integrated knowledge management system or in a Google Drive or something else that you've integrated with your platform to get the right answers for you, and then the model is taking all that information together and combining it into a response that a human can understand and addresses your prompt. We have best-in-class performance in this space, beating out companies where all they do is provide a back-end RAG system. And we do it at a fraction of the cost of a lot of capabilities. There's a lot of focus in the generative AI space these days on long context window models and using very, very large AI models in order to be able to capture tons and tons of information in your response. We pretty firmly believe that that is not the right way to go. It's extremely expensive, and particularly when we're using our customers' compute infrastructure, we want to keep everything as cheap as possible for you with your compute. And so we've built a system that not only matches performance of a lot of the very, very large models or other big retrieval augmented generation capabilities, but does it at, on the order of 5% of the cost of some of those competing systems. Being able to get this up and running fast is super important, and that's something that we pride ourselves on. I've mentioned this is generally not something that we host, and buying software that you're then going to deploy into your environment is often really time-consuming and expensive. And I actually just completed a deployment into a government classified system that took us 1 week. That's pretty fast for those kinds of environments. It's something that you can turn around very quickly across a number of different cloud accounts or on-prem hardware types that you may have yourself. So I'm going to talk about a couple of case studies. And as I mentioned, security is kind of first and foremost for us and for our customers, as you'd expect for someone who's primarily focused on deploying into customer environments. And so I'm going to highlight use cases for a couple of our U.S. federal government customers where that security privacy is really paramount. Starting with a customer who we've worked with in the Department of Energy. And this organization had fragmented data across a number of different platforms. And this is the kind of organization that I'm talking about when I say you may have a knowledge management system, but everything's probably not there. They had a number of different SharePoint instances where data was stored. They have a whole Drupal website infrastructure that they use for serving all of their IT knowledge management and IT support pages, and then a variety of other old databases of data going back 30 years or something like this that they want to be able to expose all within a single environment. And so we integrated all these systems together into Yurts for those customers for this customer in a deployment that was on a set of hardware devices within their own data center. And then we embedded these search assistants and chat assistants directly into their the websites where their users live every day. Things like their IT management website, the first their main enterprise website that comes up when you first log in to your computer at this organization. The first thing that they would see would be a search bar, and that search bar behind the scenes is actually running Yurts in order to track information down or generate a longer form chat response. This is mitigating a lot of risks around using outdated information. A couple of folks have made the really good point that you have a lot of data out there, and it's really important to make sure you find the right stuff. One thing that we actually found as we were working with this customer as we got spun up was that they had duplicates of information across these 12 different systems that we integrated data from, some of which were outdated and incorrect. And the only way that you would know that there was a newer updated version prior to us working with them would be if you happened to search the right one to find the right answer. By integrating all of these together, we were able to solve that problem for this customer. And I'm also going to talk about a Department of Defense customer use case that we've supported recently. So they similarly had fragmented data across a lot of different organizational units. One of the big challenges for a lot of DoD user groups is that the systems that they live in day to day, where they perform their tasks, may be completely separated from their knowledge management tooling. They have a lot of information at their fingertips in one system or another, but the mission system that was built specifically for whatever their job role may be doesn't connect to that at all. And so folks are flipping between screens in order to do their jobs. It's super inefficient. It's really easy to make mistakes. And then along with that, because of this pain, a lot of the data just never ends up making it into their knowledge management systems because folks don't want to have to deal with that hassle. So people have workarounds where they're using email to pass information around and things like this, which, as much as we hate to say it, I'm sure we all have experienced organizations that operate this way. And so this is what we set out to solve with them, as well as just providing a platform that works across a lot of different business use cases and operational use cases. And so we were able to solve this by integrating doctrine with mission-specific information and allowing them to reduce response times pretty dramatically. I know I'm at time. I'm happy to talk about more of this after the talk for anyone who's interested. You can also find the Yurts team at booth 411. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Or soon to be good evening, so we'll try to keep this concise and on point so we can wrap up right on time. My name is Brian Corcoran. I'm a KCS certified practitioner and cognitive search evangelist at SearchUnify, and we'll be sharing some of our insights and working with our clients and how we've been able to help facilitate enterprise knowledge sharing at scale. Just a little bit about me. I'm a KCS certified practitioner. Just show of hands, do people know what KCS stands for? Knowledge Centered Service? Thank you. Love you. Knowledge Centered Service is a great methodology that will help organizations reuse, capture, structure, and reuse content directly within their workflow. And that will be part of the conversation that we'll have today. So a little bit about SearchUnify. So we're a cognitive technology platform. We're built on a core of unified search, machine learning, and an insights engine. And we power intelligent search experiences for a variety of enterprise clients. Upwards of 40,000 employees at Broadcom using intranet search powered by SearchUnify, or even their customers. And Broadcom has 250 different products, 4,400 different versions, and all of their customers are seeking information on how to leverage those products better by using SearchUnify. So you can see here we have a couple different products that we will talk about today, but we'll keep that short. But the primary use case, obvious because it's KM World, knowledge management. And then this is just some industry recognition over the past year. So we've been fortunate to partner with some of our clients and have actually gone very high up the grid on Stevie Awards and also software reviews, where we are the top champion and leader in enterprise search. So basically our vision when it comes to enterprise search, when it comes to knowledge management, is building intelligent knowledge agents for smart enterprises. And the way that we think about that is that we want to look at this across a variety of different tasks, whether it's sourcing the knowledge, structuring the knowledge, capturing it, or using it for retrieval, search, sharing, and reuse. So we do have a few different applications that help create this end-to-end solution. What we'll focus on today is really about a key challenge that we've seen, and that is when people are getting started using generative AI for knowledge management. And so if this sounds like your current state, and you can see that the KM systems need a lot of work, there are 6 different reasons why this current state isn't too great, and this really isn't the answer that you want from your team. Don't worry, let's just throw AI at it and that'll fix everything. And really early on, that's what we were seeing with a lot of practitioners out there, is that they just wanted to start using ChatGPT to start answering questions and accelerate their workflow. Now, one of the key challenges that we saw, look at companies like Samsung. Their employees were putting code into ChatGPT to actually accelerate their work, but they forgot to recognize that it's a public LLM. Now that code base is actually part of that training set. So there are a lot of concerns in moving fast with generative AI unless you have some grounded structure and trust. And so one of the key things is that if we move fast and we throw generative AI at a knowledge management solution, we're just going to be shoveling sand with a pitchfork. It's not going to get us very far at the end of the day. And why is that? Well, it's because large language models have a variety of limitations. And we can see these on the screen, but just to keep it short and concise, large language models are largely data dependent. And here's an example for you. Does anybody remember a year and a half ago where Lensa had come out and you were able to upload your picture and it would actually spit out a picture of you looking like a wizard or something like that? This is exactly what it is, right? So somebody could take their picture, upload it to Lensa, and then they got all of these different pictures and images of themselves. Well, one of the key ethical questions is, who are the artists that actually created the source work that was used to actually take you and put you into a fantasy world? So one of the key things we need to think about is that all derivative outputs, that generative AI is, let me rephrase that. Generative AI, the key thing we need to think about here is that all outputs are derivative. They have to come from somewhere. They have to be grounded in some sort of content that exists, whether it's pictures, images, or even knowledge management articles. So one of the key things that I found 10 years ago when I first got into knowledge management is that many folks would ask me, hey, we'd like to scale knowledge management for our employees, help our customers, and partners find the right information to properly perform their jobs. And my answer then was, invest in your knowledge base and clean up your data. Well, 10 years go by and we talk about generative AI, and now I've got the same folks saying, hey, we really want to deploy generative AI and help our employees, customers, and partners get answers to their questions right in their workflows. What should we focus on? And still, I'm asking those folks, hey, didn't we talk 10 years ago? Have you invested in your knowledge base and have you cleaned up that data yet? Because if you haven't, you're just going to be accelerating dead ends for your end users, whether it's your customers, employees, or partners. And so how do we clean up our knowledge base? The first thing that we'll introduce is an application called Nobler. And Nobler is an application that can sit wherever there's a responder and a requester, and it can actually help capture, structure, and generate relevant knowledge that can then go back into any knowledge base. So as opposed to working in a CRM and then you capture knowledge and put it back into your KB. Well, what if you have a SharePoint repository? What if you have a customer community knowledge base? So our goal is to use Nobler as the engine for capturing knowledge that is really already there as a byproduct of our interactions with our employees and our customers. And so where does Nobler work? So Nobler works anywhere there's a requester who is seeking help and a responder who is providing that help or information. So KCS started within support, but also there's a concept of using KCS in HR, in legal, in engineering. So these methodologies are very important, and when you overlay technology aligned to that methodology, that is where you see a reduction in value when it comes to actually creating and reusing knowledge. So one of the key things that we'll highlight is that we focus on, with Nobler, it's around summarization, title generation, checking the article quality, looking at the vector similarity, topic modeling, and knowledge gap visualization. And when you actually capture that knowledge, what we're saying is that we don't ever expect humans to be replaced by robots in terms of automatically capturing these assets. But one of the key things that we want everybody to understand is that you need the human in the loop. And by doing so, we're actually shifting how they are working. We're going from a lot of scaffolding that has to be put in place by a knowledge worker to actually capture the right information that can then be reused. So even if we never reduce the amount of time that the knowledge worker is spending with knowledge, we want to transform how they're actually spending their time. It should be that they're spending more time curating and reviewing the outputs as opposed to just copying and pasting and having to do all of the manual lifting. So what we're saying is that here, especially with Nobler, you need to be using the large language model for its linguistic capabilities. And if you do that, and you're able to put this back into your search index, then that is how you actually scale knowledge reuse. So just a quick example here. This is just within a support example where we have a case that's come in, and there's nothing more frustrating for a support agent to say, you know what, I went through and I resolved this case. I need to create a KB article, but now I've got two buddies pinging me asking to get into an escalation. Or the next thing I know, I'm into another case. And by the time I come back to this case I resolved for the customer, I don't even remember what the resolution was. I have to start over and reorient myself to the case. So what we're saying in these examples are, you've already solved the issue. You've solved it once. Use the large language model for its linguistic capabilities, pick up the case resolving details, and then spend time reviewing the structure of that output instead of copying and pasting and putting so many clicks behind your outputs. And another thing to think about is that you need to understand the proximity of your requests against the knowledge that you have within your different corpuses all throughout the enterprise. So if there's a question that's asked, we should understand, have we seen that question before? Do we have proof that there's proximity between the question that's asked and the knowledge that we have that will answer that question? And if so, that is how we scale knowledge reuse. But if we do not have knowledge within proximity of that question, there is no way we'll be able to actually provide a generated answer or a knowledge article because frankly, it doesn't exist. So that is where we're going to use Nobler to drastically reduce that time to value for practitioners. So here's a couple parting words in terms of case studies. So with Automation Anywhere, they saw a 35% reduction in KB publishing time. Think about how much more efficient their organization becomes as a result of that. Because of that, they've actually seen an increase in knowledge creation, and they have every single support agent in their organization is now participating in their KCS program. So you can see that there's some great quotes from Brian and Sahana in terms of the impact that Nobler has had on their organization. But something I wanted to call out is this quote from Kristen Hunter. When she joined Centellus, she actually noticed that the agents were using Nobler. She had no idea what it was, but she saw that they were using it within their case management system and the agents were loving it. Right inside their workflow, there's Nobler. That is basically how they do their job. It's baked into that workflow and it's fantastic. And we were able to eliminate 15 to 20 clicks from a traditional capture to publish workflow. We saw a 50% increase in KB article creation. And if you really think about showing knowledge reuse, especially in customer support, the more that you can shift the customer demand for known issues out to self-service, the more efficient your overall organization will be. And the key marker of that is that 32% of the cases that traditionally were solved by their agents are now being solved by their customers. So they have to deal with fewer cases, fewer known issues, fewer repetitive issues, and as a byproduct, what does that leave them with? They'll be able to focus on more complex issues and actually swarming around those issues faster to provide the service that their customers are looking for. So these are some really interesting outcomes from Nobler. And just to tie it back into connecting Nobler and the knowledge outputs with cognitive search and with RAG pipelines, these are some of the outcomes that we're seeing from our clients. So you can see that there's some massive support cost savings per user interaction. We even have some test cases where we've seen that certain support agent groups are providing higher CSAT and actually a much faster time to resolution as well. So that is basically just the overview. We're actually on the expo floor as well, in the last row on the right. If you want to come by and see a demo of Nobler, happy to show you what we're up to. So thank you so much, and hope you have a good rest of your evening.